Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning into the show. Got a couple of Murder Midden's finest with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey. We're coming your way with the 63rd edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. First thing we're going to get into today is UFC. We had a pretty good pay-per-view last week in UFC 210. First thing we're about to get into is Weidman versus Mousasi. Very controversial match and just decision overall. Darnell, what were your thoughts on this whole Weidman versus Mousasi ordeal that happened?
I mean, it sucks because it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
Early on, Weidman was actually looking like the guy that we were used to seeing.
Yeah.
Chris was getting takedowns, but Mousasi was game as well. He got taken down a few times, but he was making his way back up quickly. It looked like a pretty even fight. Late, Mousasi was starting to get his shots in and seemed like he was wearing Weidman down. And then, of course, we get to knee gate and
Weidman all types of gates.
Yeah. Weidman was trying to play the game and, use the rules to his advantage for a down fighter. But it looked like Mousasi caught him with a couple knees, like perfectly timed when his hands were basically barely back off the mat. But Dan Mergliata, I think, was the ref, called for a stop because he thought they were illegal. He then asked somebody to look at the tape, go for an instant replay, which is, to my knowledge, there is none in mixed martial arts. And a whole debacle happens, and instead of Mousasi getting DQ'd, he gets a victory because they decided to just call a fight. So, weird situation, weird ending. Feel bad for both fighters. I don't think Mousasi wanted to win in that way, and of course, you don't want to lose on what you think might be an illegal knee, and you've taken the time you think to recover it, and you don't get a chance to settle it. It's just sucks that a fight like that had to end that way. And the rematch is up in the air since that was the last fight on Mousasi's deal.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there, man. Weidman, we were talking last week how we felt that this was a must-win match for him coming into that fight. And first round, came in there, looked great. Was getting those takedowns, was getting some, landed some good punches whenever they were presented to him. And just doing his thing. Second round, he did slow down a little bit. Mousasi was getting the edge in the second round. But yeah, that's when those kicks came in there. And, just looking at it when I was just sitting there watching it, I definitely thought that Mousasi got himself disqualified with those kicks. But, instant replay showed that, he was doing the right thing. He lifted up Weidman and was delivering the knees to the head, which was perfectly legal. This was the part of Dan Mergliata. He went in there, looked it over, asked for a replay, which, you were just saying, I don't think it's legal. They haven't sanctioned it yet to happen in New York where you can look at instant replay for fouls or such. But yeah, went in there, saw and decided to call the fight, which I thought initially that the doctor went in there and called it off after looking at Weidman. But I guess, you were right. I guess he was milking it, especially reading reports. I guess Michael Bisping was getting in on Weidman about milking it and stuff like that, but different story. But, just was weird. Definitely just feel bad for these guys. I know the crowd was booing Mousasi a little bit, but, he had no control over that. He went in there, he fought his fight, he did his thing in his second round. And then Weidman, which definitely sucks for him, because that's 3 in a row. I believe he's lost now. So, yeah, especially he might not get a rematch. I know he'll want to redeem himself and get some Mousasi, but contract talks and everything like that, he would have to re-sign with the UFC for that to happen. So, just definitely just sucks for both parties. This could have been a great way for Mousasi. He did get the win, but I'm pretty sure he would have liked to up his stock a little bit more by getting a better finish than that. Just Weidman definitely don't want to lose like that as well. So yeah, it definitely sucks with both parties, but if it would have kept going on, it would have been a great fight. They would have kept it up.
Yeah, you know, I think for me, the most interesting part of that whole entire fight was Joe Rogan. The whole time he was screaming that the ref is wrong. Like, why are they going to the, you know, once the replay happened, they're saying, why is Weidman still getting this 5-minute timeout? Like, if it's a legal play, the fight should go on.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, when he went out for the post-fight interviews, he was straight up telling both fighters, the refs made a mistake. Like, this shouldn't be happening. And that's the first time I've ever seen anybody in any sport take that bold of a stance right there in front of literally everybody. Like, you know, that wouldn't fly on ESPN or that wouldn't fly on CBS. Like, no way. So, you know, part of it being, you know, it's the pay-per-view fight, you can kind of have more leniency on what is said. But, you know, for me, I think that was the most interesting thing about that fight, because, you know, right when it happened, Trey, I was texting you and I said, you know, explain the rule, because you know, pretty much anyone who's new to, you know, UFC MMA is going to think, oh, they're doing whatever they want anyway. Why is that illegal? But, you you explained to me that, you know, it used to be if hands are on the mat, you can't kick to the head. Yeah. But at first, to me, it looked like that's what was happening. But I never thought twice about it. And I'm just thinking, oh, you know, he's landed some good knees. And then they stopped the fight. And once the replay happened and Joe Rogan starts screaming that it's legal, you know, I was starting to side with him. I'm like, I don't understand why, once you decide that it's a legal play, why you continue to go with the precautions of it being an illegal play. Like, that, to me, that just didn't really click.
Yeah.
And I don't think
it did. No, it just seemed like it was one of those situations where it just got so weird that nobody knew what to do, that I just think he just was like, okay, well, I took too much time here. Let me just give it to him.
Yeah.
You win, Gegard.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a giant cluster of it. You know?
Yeah. Well, how much?
Happened.
Yeah. How much do you guys think with Weidman just milking it? Because, you know, how he was acting and stuff. He looked like he took a pretty bad blow. With just how he was acting and stuff in the ring. How much of that you think played into a role of Mergulata canceling giving the fight to Gegard Mousasi? You know, just looking at Weidman saying, "Yeah, you look pretty beat up, man." You think that played any had any effect at all in the outcome of that, or what?
I think it has some effect in the outcome, and now in the how people are coming to grips with the outcome. I've listened to a lot of analysts just saying, like, he really didn't do himself any favors there by milking it, and or if he wasn't milking it, then maybe the decision was okay because he was on his way to get KO'd if that would have kept going, because he was so hurt. So either he made it worse for himself by trying to milk it to get that DQ victory, or he made himself look worse after they called it the other way when he possibly would have been able to continue, but it looked like he was on his way down.
Yeah, because I kind of favored Mousasi, you know, just how he was milking and everything with those knees to the head. I was kind of thinking, as, you know, if this fight was still going and he was keep kicking him to the head like that, it would have been over regardless. But, you know, with the whole situation, him milking and everything coming out, hey, sometimes you just got to toughen it out and don't play possum like that. But, hey, learn the situation from everybody in UFC, I guess.
Yeah, you know, one thing I wonder is, like, I understand that, you know, Darnell, what you've heard is that it was not the doctor who advised that the fight be stopped. But we also don't exactly know what the doctor told the ref. Like, he may have said nothing about necessarily stopping the fight, but he may have said something about the condition of those knees to the head, because they were not light knees. Like, those were some heavy knees getting landed. He may have tried to advise him, like, hey, you just took some tough shots to the head, you know, a few more of those, and who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, the ref may not have stopped the fight, but he may have said something that could have leaned the fight toward a finish. And I wonder if that happened, where it was totally the ref's decision, but the doctor kind of said something that kind of nudged him toward the call.
Yeah. Just Darnell, do you know when they changed the rule where now it was one hand? If it's one hand on the ground, you can knee him, compared to two being on there? Was it just this year recently, or is it a New York thing, or what? Like, do you know?
What was that?
Just with the whole one hand rule, do you know when it changed? Was it just this year where you could knee somebody if they only have one hand on the ground compared to just having two on there? Do you know if that was changed this year or late last year, or just a New York?
It was late last year.
Okay.
Yeah, because it used to be the one hand down, but then it changed to you had to put both down.
Yeah.
So there was that adjustment where a lot of the fighters had to get used to that. And they made the change. It's a lot of fighters are trying to play the game there. Like, you have people just get a fingertip on the ground when they're against the cage just to make sure they don't take a knee to the head or something like that, or any type of leg type of strike to the head to protect themselves, and it was just getting to be ridiculous. So, so they made that change to it to make it at least more difficult to play the game. But, you know, fighters still try to adapt and do it as it looked like Weidman was doing. But
bring back them pride rules, man, with some soccer kicks and stuff.
Soccer kicks down the opponents. Yeah, that's it.
I'm in favor of that. So that'll solve it real quick. But
yeah, that'll get MMA banned quickly.
Oh man.
Or just go back to the original days where the only thing you couldn't do was poke the eyes.
Eye gouging, nut punches, and fish hooks are about all that were.
Yeah.
Not
in the early days. Not in the early days. In the early days, you could punch dudes in the groin.
Yeah. Not in the UFC, but maybe some other ones. But
UFC 1, I believe, or whatever it was, like the first one ever. Like, but that was it. I think, but I could be wrong.
All right, guys. Any other thoughts on this whole Weidman Mousasi ordeal?
I'd like to see
hopefully
personally.
Yeah, I was going to say hopefully the UFC can work it out to get him to come back, get him a contract that he likes, so they can run that back and get a real winner.
Yeah, that would be good for both parties. I know Mousasi was talking about money, so hopefully they can get him a good deal. He'll be satisfied with the pay and everything, and look like this could definitely be a great part 2 if they get this to happen. So love to see it again. So just need to get that whole contract right.
Yeah.
All right, up next, we got DC versus Rumble. Before we actually get into the fight, just with you was talking about Kneegate, Darnell, but we got Towelgate. People was talking about DC pushing on the towel. I was reading before the show started. We'll get to Anthony Johnson some more, but he retired. But I guess they still want to review the weigh-in and everything like that because one, he lost, but he could get his little extra pay out of that since he felt that the DC's weight could have played a big role in that with him leaning on the towel and everything like that. But yeah, just thoughts on the whole towel situation. He was 1.2 pounds overweight. Can this be an issue further down the road for him? This continue to be an issue for him down the road as well. So just thoughts on the whole thing.
I mean, yeah, weight is an issue in the UFC, especially people trying to cut down to divisions under just so they can have that size and strength advantage.
Yeah.
For a while, Daniel Cormier wouldn't go down to light heavyweight because there was health risks for him, just because of health issues that he's had in the past. But he slowly started getting his diet down to where he could make it down to the light heavyweight weight class, and found a way to do it and keep it steady. He's a pretty disciplined guy, so I don't think it will become an issue. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. It's just as you get older, it's harder to keep your weight down. And DC is 37,
yep,
isn't it?
37.
So yeah, he's getting to that point where just I'm 35, so I know just certain weight just doesn't go now, so it just stays there. So as much as you want to work out or do anything, I know I'm not a peak athlete like him, like that was at one point Olympic level, but and still pro athlete level in UFC, but nobody beats Father Time.
Yeah,
gravity affects you a little more once you start getting the age up. But as far as towel game goes, I want one of them towels that's strong enough that you can push up and lose a pound by balancing yourself on it. Because I mean, unless that towel was like made partially out of steel, I really don't get why people are figuring that he really, two guys holding a towel on each end made him lose a pound.
Yeah, I was looking at people always post funny comments and stuff. Somebody posted Khabib needs to get one of those towels for his next fight. So, so yeah, man, that is funny. But because he came in 1.2 pounds overweight. Took like a quick minute or two, went on there, and then people were complaining about him putting his hands on that towel. And Anthony Johnson and his team, they want to review it and everything like that, but I don't know how much they're going to get out of it, but we just have to see. It's.
I mean, there's weird stuff around it. DC had to do the weigh-in in his birthday suit, yeah. So that was his excuse for it. He was pulling the towel closer to himself so nobody would see his junk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I could understand that a little bit. I wouldn't want anybody taking a look at the package while I'm trying to do a weigh-in for a fight.
Yeah.
Maybe he was worried about shrinkage. I don't know. But just another weird situation surrounding this card.
Yeah. Just speaking of weird, man, what the hell was up with Anthony Johnson wrestling DC, man? Just getting to this fight. Very shocked by his decision with the way how he fought in this fight. Especially, I was reading afterwards, I guess his cornermen were pretty pissed off at him with how he was trying to wrestle DC. I guess they were yelling at him the whole fight, just quit doing it. But I guess he just went forward with it and tried to keep trying to bring him down. But yeah, I was very shocked with his decision to wrestle DC in this fight.
Yeah, if I was his coach, I would have been pissed too. I mean, like AJ, he is a good wrestler, but Daniel Cormier was scheduled to go to the Olympics, but he tore his ACL. So I mean that's the type of wrestler he is. Yeah. You're not going to out wrestle him.
Yeah. Especially trying that weight too. So
yeah, so it's just that it was befuddling what he was doing. Like, you have ways to win this fight. Wrestling an Olympic caliber wrestler is not the way to win this fight.
Yeah,
I mean, we still got the outcome that I said I was scared about last week of him gassing out and giving up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were going to gas out, you might as well gas out throwing them haymakers that you got.
Exactly.
And give yourself a shot. But no, he tried to wrestle, and I'm pretty sure Cormier was like, okay, well, this is easy money now. Let me just tire him out because, I mean, I don't know how if either you guys are aware, but wrestling is probably the most tiring thing you could do, especially if you can't get the other person down or hold them down.
Yep.
You will tire yourself out very quickly if you aren't supremely gifted conditional with your conditioning. Like, that's the easiest way to just sap yourself for a fight. And yeah, I mean, it came to light, in my opinion, why his head wasn't in the fight about what he said after the outcome and retiring. But I mean, beforehand watching it was just like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, he doesn't want to win the belt.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he gave up in the second round, but realistically, he gave up in the first round by throwing his game plan out of the window and just saying, let me try to out-wrestle this guy.
Yeah, I guess he was just trying to go out, definitely with a bang to try to beat DC in his own game, I guess. But yeah, I was very shocked with that one because I think he landed a nice little kick in the first. I believe it broke DC's nose, or at least did a great amount of damage to it. Like, he wasn't doing bad at all in that first round. He looked pretty good and everything, but when I saw that he was continuing to try to take DC down in the second, I was like, wow, that's not good, and ended up costing him, got choked out again. So, yeah, I don't know if it was nerves with him coming into this fight, knowing that it was going to be his last one, but yeah, it definitely sucked. Especially for his crew, definitely let his corner man down. For them to have a game plan for him and go into that fight, just throw it completely out the window and do the exact opposite of what they wanted him to do. So I can see why, because he was looking around for his crew after the fight, and I guess they just dished him. So yeah, very disappointing for them.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. Like, I was shocked that he was trying to out-wrestle Cormier. And like I said, I'm right there with you guys. Because, Trey, what were you telling me? Johnson packs a punch.
Yeah.
And he wasn't trying to pack a punch. Like, I was waiting the whole time for him to try and land something, some kicks, something, and he keeps trying to go for the takedown, and I'm like, this is not what Tran was telling me to watch for at all. So
my bad.
So hey, you didn't know what he was going to go out there and try to do. You would have been right with his corner. Yeah, you would have been right there with his corner, going to the locker room after the fight.
Yeah.
Not going out there to meet your fighter. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
well, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Because it wasn't even just the trying to wrestling. Like, he was getting into like dirty boxing situations where he's closing distance and giving Cormier chances to land punches. It's like, you're taller than him, you're longer than him. You're trying to wrestle and stay in tight. Like, you're doing the two dumbest things possible.
Yeah. And for me, I hadn't seen Cormier fight before, outside of, YouTube. And I was impressed with what he's able to do. I'm very impressed with his wrestling ability. I had no idea he was, picked to go to the Olympics and all that stuff. I was impressed with him, which would make me very intrigued to see him fight John Jones. If that ever happens, I don't know. But, that really opens my eyes a bit to see why he was so distraught the last time they weren't able to fight. Like, that, it was big news, but I didn't really understand, like, why is he so pissed off that he can't fight Jones?
Yeah.
Now I think I know, actually seeing him fight live. So I was very impressed with Cormier, not impressed at all with Johnson. But like you guys said, he went away from what should have been his game plan and just didn't execute anything at all that would have been productive for himself. So, I mean, another fight yeah, he'd probably stick to a game plan a little bit better, but yeah, I don't really know. I still kind of don't really know what I watched because like I said, it was just nothing you guys told me to watch for.
Yeah.
Literally, it was the exact opposite.
Try to break it down.
Yeah. It was literally the exact opposite of what you told me to look for. Yeah. But hey, that happened.
That shocked everybody, man. Yeah. But let me ask you this, Darnell.
Yeah, we definitely know how he's supposed to fight. It's just he didn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Darnell, man. After the fight, DC was just getting booed like crazy. I like how he's embracing that role of being a villain, even though I don't know what the hell he deserved to be that villain. But is there any way possible that he could turn this around and be a good guy for the fans in the UFC? Because they just hate this guy, man.
No, he's just that designated guy. Like, just for some reason they do not. I don't know why, but like I listen to reasons why. I'm just like, and you can ask like, okay, so who's your favorite fighter? Like, some people will say like he's arrogant or cocky, and then it's like, okay, so who do you like? Well, I like Conor McGregor Jones. I'm like, what? like I don't. That doesn't vibe, arrogant or cocky, and you like these two guys. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's his style or is it just some issue or that he keeps poking the snake and pointing out true things about John Jones. And since, I mean, Jones is just the guy that people like to give 1,000 chances to add at.
Yes.
I mean, I just don't get it. But I mean, if he's comfortable with accepting the hate that the crowd gives him, he kind of show that. But yeah, I mean, he's that guy that they seem to hate for no reason, because I don't know what he's done that's so bad that he's not a boring fighter. He goes out, he throws heavy punches. He even as a wrestler, he's exciting because he has some of those big, like, terms and dropping them on their heads to throw them around. And so yeah, I mean, I guess it's like a combination that he is the antagonist to John Jones, and I think partially some of it's still that he also was one of those guys that got a victory over Anderson that everybody was hoping he would come and get that last bit of glory. So, but yeah, I mean, that's one of those confusing things to me. Like, this, anything ridiculous, not gotten in any type of trouble. Like, is it because he's too squeaky clean? I don't know. But like, maybe just because he's that company guy. He goes out, brings his lunch pail, works, does what he needs to do. He's one of the UFC's top analysts when he's not fighting. Like, I don't know. I guess just that combination of things, just people don't like it, really don't understand it, but you can't change people's minds. So hopefully he realizes that, he accepts it. I mean, they can be as mad at him as he wants, but he's a light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Getting cash, like you said.
Yeah, I was gonna say stack chips. If they pay to watch you lose, and don't get it, they still paid, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I just definitely don't get it, man. Just come from me. I'm a huge John Jones guy. I like Jones, but I can admit, John Jones has done some stupid stuff in the past, especially with this rivalry against DC. With all the stuff John Jones has done, DC is definitely, the good guy compared to Jones, but I just really can't get it, man. Like, this guy, goes out there, does his thing, squeaky clean, doesn't get in trouble, anything like that, just goes in there and just handles business, and people just don't like the guy. So, it looks like he's handling the hate and everything pretty well, but if he could just use that to keep getting more money in his pocket and everything like that, so be it. Can't really do anything doesn't really seem like he can do anything to change the fans' mind or anything now. So just go out and do your thing, man.
No, I mean, especially just after the situation in UFC 200, and he's the guy that's getting booed, and people are like on the edge of their seat waiting for Jones to come back. And he was the guy that had to drop out of the fight, and they had to do all this to get somebody in there to fight him. I don't get people.
Yeah. Now, what do you think is next for DC? Because Jones, his suspension is going to be coming to an end in July, I believe, June or July, I believe. But I believe he's talking about having a fight with Manua, if I said his name right. Having a fight with him next instead of Jones. He said, Jones is suspended right now, so he's not really worried about that. But what do you think will actually happen? You think he'll get Jones next or Manua or what?
Well, I think the smart thing would be to have both of them on standby.
Yeah.
And which it sounds like that's the way things are going. Is, for as much as the fans and the crowd can't wait for Jones to get back, it sounds like Cormier and Dana White are kind of in unison where they're throwing a lot of shade Jones' way, saying I can't trust him to be confident that he will make it to the next fight.
Yeah.
Recent interviews, DC said basically, I'm not talking about a guy that's suspended until he's back active.
Yeah.
So he's already cost me money, basically. In a nutshell, that's what he said. And in a recent interview, Dana White said it would be a fun fight to set up. Dana White was pretty clear, said I can't trust him to make it to a fight. So that's rough. So you have to keep your options open. There's other title contenders out there besides Jones. I know there's still that big probably majority when it comes to Cormier out there saying he's still not the real champion because Jones never lost the belt.
Yeah.
But the show has to go on.
Exactly.
If somebody's suspended for a year, you can't just have no champion for your probably your most marketable division as a whole.
Yeah.
Maybe not now with Johnson retiring, but with the 4 fighters they had at the top of that division, that's a pretty bankable division there. So show has to go on, and the guy that shows up every time you call his name, and even sometimes if he's not totally healthy, shows up and fights. Cormier fought for 3 years on a torn meniscus.
Yeah.
Just recently had the surgery last year to get it cleaned up and fixed. So, you got this guy who, even when he is hurt, shows up and fights versus a guy that's, had run-ins with the law, has been suspended for a possible PED or
popping them pills
or a penis extension drug or, and then also just he basically got internal suspended for popping dirty for coke.
Yeah.
So, one guy you can write his name in pen for a fight, but the other guy you got to write his name in pencil because you might have to erase it and put somebody else in.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you also can't blame Cormier too. Dude wins. He just wins.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that has something to do with why people hate him, the fact that he just wins all the time. From what I'm seeing on, he's 19-1.
Yeah.
Like you said, his name gets called and then he goes out and wins.
Yeah.
So, honestly, you can't blame Cormier for anything. Like you said, his name gets called. He's out there. He's out there and he wins.
Yeah.
He's a good marketing tool.
Yeah. All right. Now, about to get into about to get into the retirements. Well, first we'll get into Patrick Cote. Just thoughts on him retiring from the UFC, Darnell.
I mean, not totally shocked by it. Been around a long time in the UFC, so I guess he probably wouldn't have retired if he won because he would have been a step closer to a title shot.
Yeah.
But, it's always tough when, I guess both retirements that happen, they had to go up, become a pro MMA fighter since I think 2004.
Yeah.
So that's 13 years in the game. That's a long time to be doing this, and punched and your joints stretched out for money. He's another guy that's on that later stage of 30. He's a 37-year-old fighter too.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good fights to his name. It was always fun to watch and game for a fight. Gave a lot of people tough fights that turned out to be great. Good fights with, greats like Anderson Silva, Travis Luter, Tito Ortiz. Like he's fought a lot of great names. Never got to get a belt of his own in the UFC, but good fighter. Always been a staple. But sad to see him go. But you got to make that decision for yourself sometimes, right?
Exactly. Now, what about Rumble, man? I was very shocked by this one. Shocked by his performance and shocked by him announcing the retirement. How do you feel about that?
It was just weird, but it was just the finishing factor to everything surrounding this card that was weird.
Yeah.
From Towelgate to breast implant to Kneegate, and now we got what we did. We had Pearl Gonzalez who got pulled from a card because of breast implants and then placed back on the card.
Yeah.
I guess it was just the only way to finish a weird night. You had a bunch of just crazy stuff going on around this card. So, but like I was saying earlier, this at least kind of made me go, oh, maybe that's why he fought so stupid because, later reading articles, he said he knew this was his last fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a spur of the moment thing after he lost. I feel bad that I lost. I'm retiring. He knew this was his last fight.
Yeah.
So I just kind of feel like if you're that set that like this is the last time I'm doing that, it takes a special type of mind to really have everything into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely agree. It definitely can sum it up with his performance. Just with him going out there doing the exact opposite of what everybody thought he was going to do. And then, just him announcing the retirement. But there goes my dream matchup, man. I wanted to see him and Jones get it on, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. I did hear reports, I think it was from his trainer, that said the reason why he decided to retire is that he's pursuing football, I think the NFL. So I'm not sure how much that is, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see if he actually take his talents to the football field.
I'm not sure what roster he can make in the NFL. If that's the reason, I guess he'll just have to surprise me because that's ridiculous.
The Lions, man. But yeah, that's
as bad as the Lions can be.
Don't say that, Trey.
He couldn't make them. He couldn't make the Browns.
How about he goes and plays for the Ravens, Trey? How about that?
Oh man.
How about that?
Yeah, he
don't wish him on my team if you wouldn't wish him on yours.
Yeah, but I was just reading into that, man. But yeah, I believe it was, he's pursuing football. So, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. If, I would like to see him fail so he can get back in the UFC and do his thing. I definitely believe, that's his talent, but, I don't mind him, pursuing the desires of his heart. But, that's what I heard, man. Him pursuing an NFL career, I believe. So,
like I say, good luck. You're gonna have to surprise me, but I don't think you can make a practice squad in the NFL. Oh, man. He's not that type of athlete. He's meant to crack people in the jaw and throw people around. That's what he was built to do.
Yeah.
I mean, just from his own fighting style, I've never seen anything that makes me think he doesn't even project as like a DN or something like that.
Yeah.
Especially trying to come in his 30s.
Yeah, they're 33. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Just wish you well. Good luck. If you can get it, more power to you, but I don't see it.
Yeah, so, that's just what it sounded like from his trainer. But, just with this, if it is the NFL and it doesn't work out, do you think he could be making a return back to the UFC? Do you honestly feel this was the last time we saw Anthony Johnson? Do you think he'll be making a comeback, or do you think he's actually done?
I mean, he seemed pretty comfortable saying it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't feel like, I wonder, just from hearing him talk about it, it seems like he was pretty sure I'm done with this. I mean, he said it. I don't like getting punched in the face for money and stuff like that. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So
he might be getting hit in the face if he does NFL. So he was throwing that body at him, but just have to see, man. But all right, guys, you guys have anything left to add for the UFC?
No.
All right. Okay, up next, we're about to get into the NBA. About to talk about the Pistons. Been very disappointing this year. What do you think they should focus on during the offseason to improve for next year?
Everything. I mean, honestly, now being out of market, I catch them fewer than I, ever have. But what I saw of them this year, I still streamed them a few times and got to see enough of them. They just don't have a killer instinct out on the floor. They don't want it, at least from what I see, in a close game, late in the game. They don't play with urgency. They don't have someone on the team who just has a killer instinct to want to shut the game out. One player I think of, when you talk about dominating, taking over in the end is Isaiah Thomas for Boston.
Yeah.
When it's close and in the fourth quarter, he's the one putting up 16 to 20 points in the fourth quarter. The Pistons just don't have that right now. They don't have, well, for one, they don't play good enough defense to get a big lead, and they don't play good enough offense to gain one either. So from what I see, they do need to work on a little bit of everything, but I think they need to somehow find somebody, or somebody needs to just gain the mentality of wanting to shut a game out and take control and put it away. I can't tell you how many close games they've had this year that they should have won. And really, they're only a couple spots out of the 8th spot. I mean, they're already eliminated. But they lost enough close games to where they should be in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot to fix with this team. From the top down, I guess, with top being Van Gundy.
I was just about to ask that, always, no matter what sport it is, if you have a coach, he gets the blame. He's the president and the coach for the Pistons. Is he the right fit for this team, you think, or should they look for somebody else, or what?
I mean, like I said earlier in the year when we talked about it, I think he needs to pick one position and stick with it.
Yeah.
Because, his basketball decisions as president of operations haven't helped him out as coach. So, of course, you want your coach to have input on drafting players, trading for players, signing players. I'm not sure if you want your coach in full control of these things.
Yeah. As Lil Wayne says, I talk to myself because I am my own consultant.
Yeah.
That's basically the situation.
Exactly. That actually is from
man.
that great wordsmith we know. Yeah. but yeah, I mean the experiment of giving him just full control of the reins, it hasn't worked out. And the two biggest stars on the team both fell far short of what was expected of them this year. Drummond fell off a little bit defensively. He still hasn't improved at all at the free throw line, where he's still a liability at the end of games if they're close. A lot of games where he wasn't in the fourth quarter because it was, 2 3-point game and teams knew all they had to do was foul him, get a rebound.
Yeah.
And then Reggie Jackson was just a roller coaster this year. At times he looked good, and at times he was being put with the second unit.
Yeah.
So
set him out the ending to the season. So
yeah. So I mean, right now, I feel like their best, most consistent piece is right now is a guy who was made fun of a lot back in the day. Back a year or two ago, but KCP, Octavius Caldwell-Pope, seems to be the only guy I would say you probably want to keep on the team, because he's kind of starting to live up to some of his expectation. I'm not sure if he's max deal worthy, which he might be asking for, but a lot of pieces are going to be moving with the Pistons this offseason. Me and Ty were talking earlier. I think Drummond's contract is up.
Actually, I looked that up. He re-signed. He re-signed.
Yeah, I thought he did.
So he's got 5 years. So he's on contract through 2021.
Okay. So, with that, I think a decision has to be made. I don't think they can keep both Drummond and Jackson. I think one has to go. You can only have one inconsistent star on a team. So one of these deals has to be moved to somewhere. I mean, Drummond is probably the more palatable pickup for a lot of teams, where they could actually get some decent value back. Because, I mean, he is 7 feet tall and very good offensively outside of free throws.
Yeah.
If he could be put with a team that could cover a lot of his weaknesses, he could blossom into something, which would mean you may be able to get something worthwhile, maybe a decent draft pick or a couple other decent pieces that you may be able, that Stan may be able to put together and work with.
Yeah.
But with Reggie Jackson and Drummond as your best two players, just showed it's not something that can work out.
Yeah, I completely agree there. We were also, talking that the market for Reggie Jackson's just no longer there. That, unfortunately, that was very short-lived for the Pistons. I thought he was going to be the guy to bring the swag back, bring the bad boys back to Detroit. Like, that was the mentality that Reggie Jackson came in with. And unfortunately for the Pistons, they bought into it. And a year and a half later, year and a half or 2 years, it's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
But, we were also, talking about the draft, and for the Pistons, they have not drafted well over the last decade. I mean, look at their draft picks, really. Well, really since Darko, they've not drafted well at all. Their two best draft picks being KCP and Drummond. I don't think anybody, except last year's draft, I don't think anybody they drafted prior to that was still on the team. Which is very disheartening for a Pistons fan. I mean, you look at a team like Golden State, you draft Klay Thompson, you draft Draymond Green, you draft Steph Curry, and they all pan out. Detroit, you draft Darko, it doesn't pan out. Jason Maxiell was with the team for a long time, but he was never really that good, Drummond, yeah, I'd say Drummond worked out, good player, bad free throw shooter, but, the guy's giving you a lot. And you just, seriously, just look up who they've drafted. None of them turned into anything. So they need to start drafting better too. I mean, and like I said, that falls under Stan Van Gundy now. And I think this is a draft that they could potentially start to turn the ship. I mean, it'll be interesting to see who officially comes out and not, because, one name I've thrown to you, Darnell, is Miles Bridges. I would love for the Pistons to draft Miles Bridges. Very athletic guy, built for the NBA, can shoot, can play at the rim, plays above the rim. It kind of has the all-around game, and I would love to see him in a Pistons jersey. Hometown kid, hometown college. I would love to see him play in Detroit. If
he would fill up Little Caesars Arena.
People would go see him. You're absolutely right. People would buy his jersey. But if he stays, he stays, and that's his decision. Another year at Michigan State could serve him well. But if he leaves now, he's still a lottery pick, and he'll still make his money. So I wouldn't, to an extent, I would be surprised if he stayed. But if he stayed, I would get it. It's one of those situations. But I would love to see them draft him if he goes to the draft. So, I think how they choose to draft this year will be very, very key. Like, I'm tired of watching the Pistons draft players, and then I either see them go to the Grand Rapids Drive, their D-League affiliate, or I see them traded in 3 or 4 years after their contract runs up. I'm just tired of it. I mean, Stanley Johnson's not really working out. And that list could go on forever, really. And honestly, I'm tired of just watching draft picks go to the wayside while other teams draft very well and benefit from who they're getting. Free agency has always served Detroit very well. I mean, even back to the bad boy days, you get, through trade and through free agency, you get, players like McGuire, Lambeer, Adrian Dantley, and then moving forward, you're looking at Richard Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace. Just free agency and trading's kind of always been the Detroit way. But the NBA now, more than less, your teams are getting there through drafting these players. So for me, I think the draft's going to be big for Detroit. They're going to be in the lottery, so that means they should have a big selection still to choose from when it's their pick. I know a lot of places are having them fall between pick 11 and pick 15, I believe. So they'll be on the latter half. But, they only get one pick this year, so they better make it count.
All right, guys. Anything else to add for the Pistons?
Get better
this year.
Yeah.
Get better. Not making the playoffs. Big disappointment.
Yeah.
Very big disappointment.
Yeah.
That roster should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely had high expectations for them this year, and fell short.
I mean, I think we all had them at least in.
Yeah.
Whether it was 7, 8, or 6, we had them in.
All right, now up next, we're about to get into LeBron James. He made some statements last week about him not really being worried about the regular season since he's been to the finals 6 times in a row. But should he be worried about this team, man? Because they've been sucking it up as of late, especially with the playoffs right around the corner. Was he bluffing, you think, maybe, or should he just be worried about just how his team is performing right now?
Well, I think it was straight up poker face.
Yeah. I think I'll expand on this a little bit because I have changed my tune here. What was it? 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. I said I don't think they should be too worried. And then the other day I texted you guys and I kind of said it's time to panic.
Panic time.
Yeah.
I mean, when I said I don't think they should panic, I still thought they were going to have the number 1 seed. I didn't expect for it to keep up.
Yeah.
It's theirs. And granted, I saw stats today. LeBron James has never failed to make the finals as a 2 seed. So interesting, but LeBron James should be a 2 seed. This team is, I don't even know what the word is. Letting off the gas, I guess. Like the urgency isn't there. They're acting like the 1 seed's not that big of a deal. And to be fair for LeBron James, I don't know that it is, but I'm with you, Darnell. I think he's totally bluffing. The regular season doesn't matter. And this isn't the direct quote because I don't have it right in front of me, but in gist, he said, I've made it to 6 straight finals. I don't think you should be asking me whether the regular season counts or not.
Yeah. I think I've been to 6 straight finals. I'm the last person you should be asking about a regular season game.
Yeah. So I mean, that right there just proves that he cares way more about the playoffs than the regular season. And to be fair, what do you play the regular season for? To get into the playoffs. Yeah. And they're in the playoffs. And I understand that. But this team is not looking good.
Yeah.
I mean, you get Deron Williams scoring 35, even on a night you're resting 2 of your big 3, and you still can't beat a team that's, the 6th seed?
Yeah.
So
you have 26 point lead heading into the 4th quarter.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
That should never happen.
Blow that away.
Yeah, I definitely think he was in full. Like I said, he's showing his poker face. I don't think anybody that has watched Cleveland play over the last couple of weeks can say that's a championship type team. They can't guard anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up a 25-point lead in the 4th quarter.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I heard a stat. There was some stat. I wish I had the exact number, but teams with a lead that big going into the 4th quarter, like 200 and something and 0.
Yeah,
and that's so. This was basically the first time that this happened that a team gave up a lead that big going into the 4th quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's in game, and I know LeBron's the last person you should ask about a regular season game. If I'm a coach, if I'm a fan, if I'm anything, and I see my team lead in the 4th quarter when I'm a week away from the playoffs, I'm not comfortable. Like we were saying last week, this is not the same group of teams in the East that Cleveland went through last year. They're going to lose more than a game.
Hold on, no, darn it, yeah. NBA teams that won their last 1,005 games when entering the 4th quarter with a lead of 25 plus points.
Did you say 1,000?
Yeah, it says 1,005 according to Mark Stein.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mark Stein from 1,005. So you just let that sit. Just let that marinate there. 1,005 and 1 now, and that 1 is Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a good sign. Like, so every metric you could look at, saying as it 1,005 games in, that should have been a game they could have coasted to a win. They choked it away. That's how bad their defense is right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not a Cleveland fan myself. Like, I mean, they're a good team. I like watching great teams play, but that's not a great team.
Yeah.
If you're in Cleveland, you should be panicking because this is a team that might not make the finals, let alone win.
Yeah, and a team that's usually impressive going into the playoffs is very underwhelming. Like, I don't know that there's anything or any area where we're looking at Cleveland with any glimmer of hope.
All right, guys. Anything else to add for LeBron?
Like I said, he might be great in the playoffs, but I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can drag the squad through, like maybe through the whole East. But I mean, this team is not winning the championship.
Yeah,
as they're playing right now.
Exactly. All right, guys. Just looking at the playoff picture so far, we don't have all the teams set for who's going to be in the playoffs yet. I got some pretty close battles just coming in from tonight. That's going to determine the rest of the season for the playoffs. But just so far, from what you know, what matchups interest you the most for round one?
Yeah, I guess I'll just go real quick. And just, I guess, for an honesty thing here, like, I think anybody Golden State plays is an interesting matchup just because, like, you always wonder who can push them far. Like, if they get into a 7-game series in the first couple of rounds, then things get a lot of fun in that Western Conference.
Yeah.
Unless
Portland
it's, Spurs.
One, so.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if someone could take them to 6 or 7 before San Antonio can, then we're always, then we'll have a lot to talk about. We'll start speculating a lot of things that probably aren't even there. But, Golden State's a team I'm gonna try and catch every single one of their playoff games. Because, they're the team to watch in the Western Conference, followed by San Antonio. But I think my favorite matchup is going to be Oklahoma City versus Houston, because it's just going to be solely based on the fact of the Harden Westbrook matchup. I believe, Houston will win that
MVP
one.
Picks in a little bit, but do you guys think this will possibly, whoever wins, this will possibly determine the MVP for the season?
No, because I think it's just a regular season award.
Okay.
I don't believe the playoffs are a factor there.
Okay.
But with it being in all likelihood the top 2 MVP candidates, I think that'll just make for a fun series. I fully expect Houston to win that in at least 5, maybe 6. They're just a better team all around, better top to bottom. But I think that'll be a fun matchup. And then also another one I'll be looking forward to is the Jazz and the Clippers. Just because, once again, the Clippers tend to be disappointing in the playoffs. I think the Jazz have a great young roster. I like their team a lot. I really like Gordon Hayward. I like Rudy Gobert. I think those 2 players are for real. And that'll just be a fun 4-5 matchup. I think that'll be better than the Wizards and Hawks 4-5 in the East. So I would like to see the Jazz win that one personally. I just like their roster a little better. I like their youth. I think it'd be better for the future of the NBA than watching the Clippers fail again. So I mean, if there was 2, I'd say that I'm excited about. They'd both be in the West, and they'd be the 3-6 Houston, Oklahoma City, and the 4-5 Clippers versus Jazz.
Yeah, I'm with you with OKC Houston. I think that's pretty much the first round matchup I mean, everybody with a brain has circled this is the one you want to see. You have the two leading MVP candidates going head to head. I mean, that's and the style of play. This one just looks like it'll be a very fun series to watch.
But it'll be fast. It'll be very fast.
Yeah. And then on the East side, I'm interested in Toronto, Milwaukee, just because I wanted to see and what kind of matchup they have in the second round for probably Cleveland. And then I'm interested to see who actually gets the 7th spot to play Cleveland. I would like to see Chicago, Cleveland, just for that, deal there. I think that would be kind of fun to watch and see how that goes. And then you have Jimmy Butler, see how he does in a playoff where, he's officially just cemented as the man there in Chicago. To see what he would be able to do against the king of the East in Cleveland.
Yeah, did Wade get cleared back to play yet?
No, he's done.
He's actually done, or okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they ruled him out, and that he might have come back. But okay. Really, I had not heard that. But if he would, that would make that series only that much more fun to watch. Okay. If you could see Wade and LeBron play against each other in the playoffs, that'd be fun.
Well, yeah, because I thought they said he would at least be ready for the playoffs.
I didn't hear that, but it doesn't mean I just missed it.
Okay. So yeah, might have to see them. Yeah, might actually see them compete later on. Then, so.
But yeah, I mean those are about the things that kind of the ones that pique my interest, at least for the first round.
Yeah. Just for me, I would say San Antonio and Memphis. You guys basically covered, but that one, those two, they've had some pretty good games.
They played tough games.
Yeah, they played tough games. So this would be interesting with that. Tim Duncan, they don't have Timmy in the playoffs with them this year, so they kind of got a little bit new roster with Powell in there to see how he'll play in the playoffs and stuff like that. But yeah, just history. Those two, they grind it out in the playoffs. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for that as well. But you guys,
just let you. Yeah, Wade's back. He played against the Nets last game. He had 14 points in his. He's set for the playoffs.
Okay. So,
I thought he was ruled out for the season. So that's
fine. Me too.
When the injury first happened, they said he would probably be out for the rest of the regular season, but he worked his way back, and they said he was close to returning. So I guess they had him play.
And also, to be fair, like you said, Darnell, they have to make it first. So
yeah.
So
exactly.
So win tonight and hope for a loss somewhere.
All right, we're about to get into a couple of the awards now. But yeah, for Rookie of the Year, who would you guys have?
Rookie of the Year, you said?
Yeah. Would you still give it to Embiid, or was the injuries that cost him the award?
It's tough, just because this rookie class was just not impressive. Just outside of Embiid, it was just not. So I mean. You look at probably your choices are Dario Saric and Malcolm Brogdon, probably.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So, I mean, I feel like just with Embiid's shortened season, he probably still is most deserving, but it will probably go to Saric.
Yeah, it's tough because. Like you said, the injury to Embiid I think, took too much out of his season. Mm-hmm. Missing the games that he missed really hinders your ability to give him Rookie of the Year. It's like the guy only played half a season and a little over half a season. But even at that point, he only played half of those games. Yeah. It's really tough to give it to him just based on the fact that his games played isn't there. So I'm right there with Darnell. I think Brogdon and Saric are going to be the two guys that's debated between. And just based on the numbers, you're looking at Dario playing for the 76ers, averaged 12.8 points a game, 6.3 rebounds. While Brogdon was at 10.2 points, 4.2 assists, and 2.8 rebounds. I could see it going to either one of these guys. Not being in their markets, we don't get to see them a ton. Them being on the teams around, they don't even get national coverage a lot. So I would probably give it to Dario Saric, but if it goes to Brogdon, I won't be too upset.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I can definitely agree there.
Because to be fair, both players have gone through a pretty big stretch of the season where they played outstanding. Dario's came later in the year. Malcolm's kind of came in the middle of the year when he kind of gained his starting role with that team.
Yeah.
He started for a while.
That's why I'm thinking Dario since it's fresher in people's mind.
Yeah. I think I would get Dario. I like the way he plays too a little bit. I think his game is definitely NBA. Brogdon, I think, still has some growing pains that he's got to go through in the NBA. I think Dario has fewer areas where he needs to grow with his game. I think he just needs to have the experience. I think Brogdon actually needs to grow a bit more in the game. So based on that, I'd give it to Dario Saric.
Yeah, I'd give it to Dario as well. Just I wouldn't give this guy the award for sure, but Buddy Hield, he's had some flashes when he went to Sacramento. He's had some good games too. So how Sacramento is, man. But if he stays there, just like to see how his game will further develop if they continue to stay in Sacramento. So got rid of Cousins from stupid trade, so might get rid of him for a stupid trades as well. So just have to see. Now, who would you guys give Defensive Player of the Year to? Is it a lock with Kawhi?
I'd give it to him. I mean, I think you can make the argument for Draymond Green as well, just because he's also very solid defensively. But I like Kawhi Leonard here for sure. The amazing stat came out last week, I believe, and I think I sent the picture to you guys.
Yeah.
There's more steals in his career than fouls. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Absolutely incredible. I told that stat to my dad, and he says, "How is that possible?"
Yeah.
so the guy just has the mindset of playing defense the right way. So,
exactly.
Also it's I believe it's 660 something steals to 650 something fouls. Like, it was incredible. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. But I like Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I think it's a two-horse race. It's between Kawhi and Day-Day. Draymond, his season's been a little quieter this year since he's probably the one that gave up the most of his scoring role with the Warriors to accommodate for getting KD. But defensively, I feel like he, as good of a defensive player as he's been, I feel like he actually stepped it up a little bit more. One of the things that people worried about with Golden State is they don't have the rim protector. And I think he's picked it up a lot to protect the paint. Just kind of comes down to where people are looking more for how Kawhi is on the perimeter, dealing with twos and threes a lot, and the dirty work that Draymond has been doing this season. So I mean, I guess I gotta go with my fellow alum. So I'll wait.
All right, man. Got support. All right, now who would you guys give Coach of the Year to? For me, I chose Brad.
Can't believe I'm saying it.
Who'd you choose?
Trey.
Yeah, I chose Brad
Stevens.
Stevens. I knew the Celtics was going to make the playoffs, but for them to get the first seed for the East, I was just impressed with that. I think I know who you're going to go with, Darnell, and I think so. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying it, but Mike D'Antoni. I mean, he's been somebody I've mocked for years because of the teams that he runs, but he has Houston looking nice. And for a team that I thought would probably be like, I thought Oklahoma City wouldn't make the playoffs probably, and I thought Houston would probably be a 7 or 8 seed at best, and he has them at 3. I tip my hat. I got to give it to him for how they're playing, how they look. I give him a nice little golf clap. I think he's earned Coach of the Year.
Yeah, he was a front runner for me. Yeah, absolutely remarkable. Yeah. Like I had them being around the, say, 6, 7, or 8, and he's got a possible MVP candidate in James Harden, and he has those guys rolling right now. So they're playing great basketball.
He definitely him putting Harden as the primary ball handler, he's not really the point guard of Patrick Beverly out there, but making him the primary ball handler has really given James Harden, I don't know, a lot of people have suddenly forgotten that he can't play defense.
Yeah.
We're so enamored with what he's doing on offense that we don't care that he can't play defense anymore. And I guess Mike D'Antoni's the only guy that could have done that. And Trey, what you're saying with Brad Stevens and what he's doing in Boston, possibly taking the number 1 seed away from Cleveland. Isaiah Thomas.
Now they clinched it. The Cavs.
Oh, they won?
Yeah.
Okay. Cavs lost.
Yeah, they actually got it.
Yeah. So then they have the number 1 seed. Isaiah Thomas is having, he's following up a great year with another great year. And, Al Horford was a very nice addition for them. That team's playing with some confidence right now. And, I really like both coaches. If they could share the award, I'd give it to both of them, to be honest. But if I really had to pick one, I'd probably give it to Brad Stevens. Making the transition from college to the NBA as a coach is very tough. Billy Donovan is doing it right now as well. Granted, he's doing it with a lot less talent, taking Oklahoma City to the 6th seed on the back of Russell Westbrook. But, Brad Stevens coming from the mid-major school, I didn't know if he'd be able to cut it in the NBA, and he's proven that he can do it and do it very well. So yeah, I'd side with Trey here and give it to Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
And then I had one that I would feel a little better about it if they were able to make the playoffs because they're in that 3-team triangle. But I think at least for the second half of the season, Eric Spoelstra with my hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy, especially for how they started the year. They started terrible.
Yeah.
But he put that team together to at least be just in striking distance for a playoff spot. I got to give credit to him.
Yeah, if there was a second half of the season award.
Yeah.
Just another one for me for coaches was Quinn Snyder, the Utah Jazz coach. Definitely was surprised with this team's performance for the year. I believe they're the 4th or 5th seed in the West. 5th seed. Yeah, 5th seed. Didn't even have this team going to the playoffs. Gordon Hayward, he's been balling out this year. So another guy that he'd probably be 3rd pick for me was Snyder, but remarkable job with the Utah Jazz, what they were able to do this year. Very shocked by that one. So, all right, guys, most valuable player. This is an interesting one. Do you choose the guy that's been having a great season, but some people say he could have done better with the wins, or do you got the guy that's having the wins and still having a remarkable season with James Harden and Russell Westbrook? Who do you guys think will get it?
Jim Brody. I'll take Russell Westbrook. I on it. For me, if you were to take the MVP off of his team, they would not have the same identity. If you take Russell Westbrook off of the Oklahoma City Thunder, they might be the second worst team in the league. Third worst team, maybe. That team literally is nothing without him. What he did this season is remarkable. Averaged a triple-double. And to a point, making it look easy, breaking the triple-double record. He kind of struggled to get the record, though, which I kind of laughed at. Because he tied it, and then the next 2 games, he didn't have a triple-double, and I was thinking, is he going to get the record alone, or is he going to stay tied?
Yeah.
I was kind of concerned.
He was awful shooting the ball the game after.
I know. Like, I was getting concerned for a minute, but he ended up getting the record, and, got to give him a lot of credit there. That was a record that had stood for a very long time. And Oscar Robertson actually went to Oklahoma City and gave Russell Westbrook the nod for MVP. So that was kind of cool on Oscar Robertson's part. But yeah, I mean, like I said, averaging a triple-double, scoring a lot of points. His efficiency numbers aren't really there, and a lot of people like to knock him for that.
Being the guys doing everything, rebounds.
Yeah, look at that roster. Do you want him shooting the ball more? Or do you want, I don't know, Steven Adams shooting the ball more? Do you want Victor Oladipo shooting the ball more? Do you want Cantor shooting more threes than Russell Westbrook in a game? Yeah. Like, I don't. Like, you don't want Russell Westbrook shooting the ball 50 times a game or anything, but you have to expect him to be taking the most shots on the team.
Yeah.
But he's saying, well, he's shooting 40%. It's kind of like, so what? That team needs him shooting all of that 40%, and they need him to be taking that 20-something shots a game.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm going to have Andre Robertson shooting the ball 15 times. No way.
Yeah.
So, say what you want about the efficiency numbers, but I think Russell Westbrook's done enough for me. I'd give him the MVP with Harden finishing in second. LeBron in third.
Yeah.
Just because he's LeBron, man. He always does good.
I agree. I go Russ because, simply put, 42 triple doubles.
Yeah.
And like, people are trying to call him out saying like he was hunting for the triple doubles, hunting for stats. Like, no, Oklahoma City needed him to do that. Like, if you look at Oklahoma City's record, they've won 47 games so far. They've only won 13 games when Russ didn't have a triple double.
Yeah.
So that means 34 games they probably won because this dude had a triple double. So they needed him to get out there and do everything on the court. This is not a good roster. Minus Russ.
Yeah.
Next best player is Victor Oladipo, who's a solid number 3 option on a good team. He probably shouldn't be a team's number 2 option. So I go with it just simply put. I mean, if you take him off of this, like I said, of those games where, like 34 games where they won pretty much on the back of him getting a triple-double, they won 13 games without him doing that. If you take him off of this team, this might be like a Philadelphia 76ers a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
Like, this is the kind of record they would have. So let's give the guys credit.
Yeah, and also, to be fair, how many times did we see an MVP win solely because he was just averaging a ton of points?
Yeah.
Like, based on points alone. Like,
well, and Russ is leading the league.
He's almost averaging 32 a game.
Yeah.
That's crazy good.
Yeah.
Like, how many times does the league's leading scorer not even average 30?
Yeah. And this is a 6'3" point guard averaging over 10 boards too.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I would understand an argument for James Harden. I really would. But just looking at the body of work that Russell Westbrook has put in this season and the stats he's putting up versus what the rest of his team is putting up, to me, it's not even comparable around the league.
Yeah. In any other year, like, I would be totally fine giving this to Harden, but I mean, the guy is averaging a triple double. I know Oscar didn't win it when he averaged it, but they weren't keeping track of triple doubles at that point. We do keep track of this now, and we can look at the numbers and see what Oklahoma City what their record is in his triple double games, and it's by far a winning record because, like I said, with this roster, they need Russ doing everything he's done this season. They needed this Superman, Hercules type effort to get them to the playoffs, and I don't see how anybody can. How could you not vote for this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Just simply, I'll just give it to Russ. It's an unbelievable season. I do like Harden, what he's been able to do, but do believe that Harden overall just has a better cast around him than Russ. If Russ had the cast that Harden's had, it'd be crazy how just their record would be compared to what it is now. But yeah, Russ doesn't have the players around him that he can rely on that like Harden does. So, just simply Russell Westbrook, I give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, who, kind of like you're saying there, Trey, who would you rather have shooting the ball, the 3-point champion or Andre Robertson?
Yeah.
take your pick.
Yeah, you sleeping on Robertson, man.
Yeah, 6 points a game?
Yeah.
Woo. Sleeping.
All right, guys. For the final bit, we're gonna break down the playoffs next week, since it's starting up this Saturday, I believe. But for the finals, who do you guys have in the finals? I'm pretty sure you guys got Golden State coming out the West. But can you guys trust LeBron to come out the East? How you guys feeling? Like, what's your matchup for the finals?
I know Trayon does not have Golden State coming out of the East.
Yeah.
Since you really like those San Antonio Spurs every year. But no Timmy D, no problem for you. So, I trust LeBron enough. It seems like the playoffs come around and he turns into the best thing basketball's ever seen. I think I know we give him a hard time for saying, the regular season doesn't mean anything, but I truly believe that he believes that and will turn it on when he thinks he needs to turn it on, and will jog around when he doesn't want to turn it on. Like, I'm honestly firmly believing that. And I will still pick Cleveland to come out of the East as the number 2 seed. And I wouldn't be surprised if they play Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals and beat them in 5. I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
Right.
So I'll take Cleveland out of the East, and I'll take Golden State out of the West. I'll have a rematch, maybe a different outcome in the finals, but I'll have a rematch again.
Okay, 3-peat.
Yeah, I definitely got Golden State and pretty confident in that one. I just feel like that roster as a set, they built a championship team that somebody's gonna have. A couple people might have to get hurt for them to lose. The East, I mean, I guess I'm going with LeBron because I'm going with LeBron. I'm not going with Cleveland. I'm going with LeBron.
I don't think there.
Oh, man.
But
LeBron gonna put up Russell Westbrook numbers in the playoffs, man.
He might have to, but if anybody else can do it, it's him.
Yeah.
But I guess this is one of those where I'm hedging that I wouldn't be shocked if Washington or Boston gets him. Yeah. Just because at every other spot, I feel like they can be got.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're gonna get another explosion from Kyrie late, where all of a sudden he looks like he's in that argument for best player in the league. I'm just not sure if we get that again, which helped LeBron a lot last year.
Yeah, and I'll even say I think it would be very, you're talking about Kyrie Irving. I think it'd be very interesting to see them get back-to-back matchups in the playoffs of Kyrie versus John Wall and the Wizards, and then turn right around and have to play Isaiah Thomas and the Celtics. I think that would be a fantastic point guard matchup, 2 rounds in a row. And who knows, maybe even, something weird could happen, and, we'll see, not something weird would happen, but we could see, Isaiah Thomas and Kyle Lowry. Something like that. Like, I think the Eastern Conference can have some very good point guard matchups.
Yeah.
The whole playoffs. So, it will be very interesting to see if Kyrie Irving can rise and play where, Wall is and where Thomas is, potentially for 7 games, therefore 14 in a row. I don't know that either of those series would get to 7 games, but I still think that, if they were to play Washington and then Boston, they could be very tired going into that Boston series. Even if they beat them in 5 or 6 or even 4, it would still be a very tiring series.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the matchup of Kyrie versus some of those other top point guards in the league.
Yeah.
All right, for me, actually, I hate to say it, but I'm not rocking with the Spurs this year, Ty.
What? Call all of the major publications. Call ESPN, breaking news. I may have to tweet about this.
I pulled out his little John there. You totally shocked him.
This is big news.
Man. What?
Hey, when's the last time you heard Tran pick against those Spurs?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been since the Lakers were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Once the Lakers stopped being finals worthy, it's been the Spurs.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going with Golden State, man. Just, some of the guys, I do like my man Kawhi. Just think with LaMarcus Aldridge, think he could have had a little bit better season than what he's been doing this year. Still isn't playing good basketball. I just think he could have been a little bit better. But I just think that the Golden State's overall athleticism, they're going to get to him when they play the Spurs. So I think they're going to edge them out there. But from the East, I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards, man. I just think, I don't know, man, just LeBron and how they've just been choking games. It's just going to be hard for me to believe that this team just going to be like a switch and just turn it on come playoff time. So I think it's going to be the year, man. Somebody's going to take out LeBron and stop this streak of going to the finals with his 6. So I think it's going to be the Wizards to do it. But all right, guys, you guys have anything else to add?
To be fair to the rest of the Eastern Conference, I know I was pretty quick to pick LeBron there, but it wouldn't be the end of the world to see somebody else get in the finals. I actually wouldn't mind it, but I don't know that anybody else could take a game from Golden State.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
I think Cleveland's the only team in the Eastern Conference that could force at least 6 games.
Yeah. I can agree with that, yeah.
So, take that for what you want, but once again, I just still think LeBron has it in the playoffs. So yeah. It's a switch for him. It's a switch.
Yeah, I'm going against them, but, like I said, if it's the Wizards or the Celtics or whatever, I do think we could be in store for a pretty boring NBA Finals.
Yeah.
If the Cavs don't end up making it to the finals. So.
And I like that Wizards squad. I think they're a pretty decent squad this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned out to be pretty good, especially on Wall and Brad Beal. They figured out how to work together.
Finally, yeah. It's about time.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, you have anything else that?
Rest in peace, child.
You said what?
Hold
on, say it. You said,
peace, brother. Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy.
Oh, Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. You kind of breaking up when you were saying it, so yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Try some classics on the Chappelle Show, man.
Yeah. That's what I was doing my Dave Chappelle as doing five fingers to the face.
Oh
slap.
Yeah, slap.
Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, man. I was so shocked by that, man. Yeah, I did not know he had leukemia. So.
Yeah, I didn't either. Lost another legend.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
These famous people need to stop.
Yeah. All right, Ty, you got anything, man?
No, not particularly. I guess.
Do you know who Charlie Murphy is, son?
Yeah. I've seen the Chappelle Show a time or two.
All right.
Like you guys said. So, yeah, I'm aware, and I'll fall in line with you guys. It always sucks when people go, and he was fairly young too. So,
57. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of seeing people go, that's a little earlier than I like to see him go. So, yeah, definitely sucks. But NCAA basketball's over. We're starting to look forward to a lot of things. A couple sports are hitting their playoffs. For those who are into hockey, that started tonight. Basketball starting in the next few days, so playoff time, getting good. Baseball's underway, something a little slower. Something I don't have to necessarily pay attention to all the time, but decent to turn on every now and then. But I guess, yeah, looking forward to some drafts coming up. We have the NBA draft and the NFL draft. Both will be here before we know it. So,
yep.
It's going to be time
weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be time to start thinking about new seasons and new hopes from the Lions. So I guess we'll wait and see what those have in store for us. But
yep.
Yeah, it's just a new season for sports. So another chapter down and another one starting.
Yep. As usual, guys, appreciate y'all checking us out, tuning in. You can follow us on Twitter at DKM_cast. You can also check out this podcast on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher. Just hit us up in that search engine. You should be able to check us out. But as usual, y'all take it easy. Peace out.